Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing that all exclusive verbal reasoning run through. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one, and so hopefully today is the day. I'm not sure exactly when I've got this scheduled for, but I hope this is useful. If you guys are new here, this is the first time on the channel, please do go check out my other playlists. I've divided up all of the videos that I've made so far into specific playlists, so therefore you can check out exactly what you need. And a lot of my videos are mainly on decision making, since that's a section which is clearly cut into 6 areas, and in which each area can be taken into further detail. However, I would like to say that I have done like a 40-minute VR video, basically covering all like relevant ideas that I think you need to know. I didn't really include any generic content in there really, because anyone could tell you that, right? Anyone can tell you to read faster or comprehend faster, but that's not really going to provide you much. I wanted to be one of those, I don't want to be a generic channel. I'm not just here for views, but I want to actually help you guys and make a real difference. So please do go check out that video if you haven't done so already, and let's get into this. So yeah, essentially same as I've already done 3 other walkthroughs. Once again, shameless plug, but please do check those out if you haven't done so already. And what I'd like you guys to watch out for here is like have a look at the passages that I do, the amount of time that I spend on them, and how comfortable I am with skipping and moving on. And sometimes I might even just guess questions. I might use some of the practices and principles that I talk about in that video. Okay, so yeah, let's get straight into it then. Cozy cloth near this village. Cozy is the first about really much than came into this way because he's built for production cloth. Okay, giving its capitalize on this flourishing industry. Yeah, I think it's going to be that one. Known for its ordering killing to protect it's produced elsewhere, but may have originated in the okay. Which of the following stuff like Kersey today is the author most likely to agree with? The exterior can be resemble a village from. Okay, which of the following statement? Construction cemeteries. Okay, so which of the following statements about Kersey Prior is what is used to hospital in 30th century? So the solution is found in the monastery alongside. So Kersey Prior. Okay, so hospital and home for members of the Roman Catholic Order known as Justin by 14th century began to find land as a result of the Black Death. Lays this church called St. Fisher's served the of the ancestry. Okay, uses a hospital in the 13th century. Yes. If Takaso, so I'm going to go back to the others. Construction was delayed due to financial struggles. I don't think it mentions that. Well-known writer lived in Kersey in the latter half of her life. Who lived here in the latter years. It doesn't say half. The Kersey population was growing when the Normans arrived. Signs a strong community in the location began to increase in size. Yep. It says from 12th century, so I think all the same. Yeah, I think it's going to be this one. Castle was set under the orders of Heinrich Himmler on the 25th of April 1943 at Castle. That's going to be false. 30th of April, 5 days after. Before the signing of Germany's unconditional surrender. I don't think it says the date. 5 days. Oh, we're going to become onto the same court, so American troops of the 23rd Battalion. Yes, they did belong to the same corps. Yes, that's true. Attacking force promptly surrendered after failing to take the castle. Recently defended against the attacking force. During the war, a small castle after Anschluss. This is going to be can't tell. The Eastern European prisoners participated in the battle. Does it? There's an established. Into another menial work. So I'm going to say this is a can't tell. So it was used for maintenance menial work, but I don't think we can say that chronic doing effects, cognitive malfunction, severity and skill, knowledge, belief, or physical attitude. Cognitive bias, injuries under that he or she is superior and then someone else possesses. Effect, so the chronic Dunning effect, does it say cognitive bias? Okay, I'm going to say it's this one. So following explains why Greenspan fell victim to an investment fraud. Greenspan is not expected, he did not tell it lost motive of his life saving police as character. Investment fraud. He poorly assessed character. Which is the fault of the conditions can be assessed as self-calibration, risk intelligence. Hypnosia. Alzheimer's, self-risk intelligence, anosognosia, I don't know what that is. Self-calibration, maybe this one, linked to a brain condition, anosognosia, yeah. The author believes all the following carries weight in debates on social media, except that was down here. Relevant qualification commentators, those who dominate online, those who contribute the confidence of the commentators. I think A and D are going to be right between B and D due to lack of ability, because they frequently outnumber more informed commentators. Use it. Which of the following cannot be inferred? So relevant qualifications carry weight. Qualifications, not really. Which of the following cannot be inferred from the passage of cable's construction. Okay, I'll skip this one. This argument that depression is a rational disorder which evolved, even though it's useless. A disorder which evolves is used in some situations. This disorder is molecular, so this is, I'm going to come back to this. So, Nessie teamed up and noticed that evolution selects reproducers out of the help of happiness that exists in human source. But there's no, well, I don't have this reason. Darwinian medicine. Why is the right one cephalopod eyes? Law. So, contrast with human eyes, which evolved a useless feature. Yes. Evolved. Signal danger and vocal response among others to allow more important functions to work better. Maybe this one, I'm going to guess this one. Come back to this in the future. Mental illness can be treated by medications that are part of brain surgery to rewire neurons. Genetic as a result of paradoxical future reasons require mental circuits to be engaged to release them from hardware evolutionary constraints. Mental circuits, so I'll say brain surgery. That's going to be wrong. That's going to be wrong. Targeting neural pathways. The church's official decision sparked was there. I knew that I skipped. Okay. According to the passage, the church's official decision sparked a strong reaction with incentives to issues so it's targeting. Ganzi's associates also moved to work with sufficiently established rival church for them. So it says workloads established for them that status and belonging made them all the more important by the prejudice, racial results and segregation they faced. Recording the declaration of Ganzi ensured Ganzi more durable and could be united to their owners, made each Ganzi different and identifiable. It was only a changing generations, but still on for centuries on. Around, except for the fake scene was made size adjustments. It became one to ensure the jumper not get caught. Okay. Ensured could be reunited with the owners. Why have they written something like that? Yeah, belonging to their trade. Maybe that one. Okay. Ganses into similar garments originating elsewhere in the, including different. So initially in the round and they're only joined to. So stitched together. They were knitted in the round. Back and forth knitting is reserved for upper panels, lower portions. Okay. No, it was not practical and sure again. They could be worn repeatedly. Yes, they could loudly unhindered. They could be hand down forward. Yeah, new generations. Which the following best is a dystopian alternative reality in which Sisu has also. Some of those prejudices such as environmental disaster. Okay, so an alternate reality and an alternative time point. Alternative time point. So society had changed. Issues. Okay. Which work of fiction mentioned this? Describes rebellion by its characters against the Soviets. Erland. Rebellion by its characters. So 1984. Well, the Perpetual War. Maybe it's that one. Erland. I don't see Erland. That's probably not true. Handmaid's Tale. No. Sleeper Wakes, actually. So, specific, undesirable for, yeah. Okay. I'll call him about George Orwell. So, he had concerns about George Orwell. Maybe comparable but fatally flawed in more than one way. He had concerns about totalitarianism. George Orwell, yes, I'll see this. Which is one of this following. Technology often beneficial addition. Technology. That's going to be wrong. That's going to be wrong. Although most practices so degree inauthentic, his belief that psychology had an influence on a person's health was not. Although it's the belief that is true. Actually, you can't tell. We don't know if it's true or not. Power of the mind to change one's physical health. I know if that was his belief, though. It would never have been discredited as false. Actually, we can't tell. No, because he was popular. He says he was popular, so he would never have been discredited. No. No kind of explanations were not taken as seriously as more superficial. I'm not taken as seriously. False. Must by not drawing attention to the artificiality of what his audiences are experiencing. Can't tell. Dismantling the animal processing optimal welfare conditions for animals. Each country setting its own regulations. More lenient regulations for animal related studies in global animal law. Let's get this. It's not a problem for zoos. It can stop people think about the words of scientists. Germans give people undergraduates open on the orders to learning and league. need to entertain the children. People thinking about the war, that's true. Sign to the Germans, son of the city. Yes, give people Leningrad hope for the future. Leningrad elite, no. Start siege, crocodiles released into Neva River. 80 animals, what's this here? The 80 most mobile animals. Belarus, is it in Belarus? No, I don't think it's in Belarus though. Start in Bistep. No, they did not have an exit plan in Belarus. I don't know what river it was released into. Which action involving animals was not carried out. Tigers all shot, massive and skin was massaged, new monkey was given human. To be coaxed up by a ram. Ailing bison was rescued. Tigers were all shot. I think it's probably this one. Sorry, the tigers were all shot at the start. Is that right? No, I think. The ship following a street, most popular animals escaped after the zoo was attacked. Most animals were evacuated. The zoo stayed open for the whole siege. No, that's wrong. It says most. Most of the animals are evacuated. The answer, most of the animals are evacuated. Okay. Uranium 235 has a greater half-life than 234. 235, half-life of 238 is... Uranium is... the half-life is not... the most common is U238. 235, I don't think it mentions a difference. Gold is more dense than lead. And slightly lower than that of gold or tungsten, yes. Uranium 233 has a higher fission cross-section of slow neutrons than 235. 233... Yes. Yeah, I think that's true. Atomic number represents the number of protons in an atom. This might be one of those trick ones. I think it necessarily says. So let's review the incomplete. See this fifth episode. Regularly, if you want to see a typical English village. Regularly receives tourists. I want to see a typical. It can easily resemble a village from a bygone area. Bygone era, yes, I think that's going to be true. Cannot be inferred. Okay, so which of the following cannot be inferred? What was the other passage? Which is different. Dismantling as the animal processing, each country settling its own regulation, optimum welfare conditions. Gives the example of horse slaughtering to show that the horse slaughtering. Relaxed regulations in the led to reduced animal standards. I know, strict regulations led to reduce. This is following the Basel Declaration. So what strict regulations? That the Basel Declaration producing to renounce overly strict regulation. Renounce supports more lenient to improve. Okay, protect its economy. Initiatives with the rest like ban animal testing. What's the same animal laws worldwide? Probably this one, I would guess, because they said about like disparities over here. Let's have a look at this passage. Which following cannot be inferred. Monocombat and intricate contraptions of wires, pads, and keys. The cable flew with the Balkans. Further south and east is a hollow tube with none of these complications. You can look through. Okay, assuming all 4 holes on the last joint are on the front, the cable could have a maximum of. So what about the numbers of the cable? Okay, so formerly carved out, the cable now has 3 jointed parts, the middle of which has 7 holes at the front, plus 1 for the thumb behind. So just on its front side, so 7, okay, up to 4 holes, and these called the devil holes. Okay, could have a maximum of 7 plus 4 is 11. Okay. Carol sounds admit the actions derived. Okay. Sees the flute as part of a parcel of mimic the cries of a shepherd who thinks he spotted his road sheep with a bravo and rushes towards the last section of the melody and then lapses into crestfallen musings when he gets there. Tells about the band of sheep responding to particular motives and placing their forepaws in the shepherd's shoulders with the right tone and sound in more prosaic reasons. Box. Yeah, probably this one. What could a slow melody traditionally represent? A fast section of the melody. Disappointed not finding a sheep, perhaps. Lapses into crestfallen musings. Yeah, probably this one. 14. Has changed over time. Vertically down the flute. End blown. Across the beveled rim. Yeah, that's true. The wood of the ash tree is not a hard material. I think I'm going to go with this one. Okay. It's changed over time. Formerly carved out in one piece, yeah. The wood of the ash tree is not. Ash tree, ash tree, ash tree. That's true, yeah. Okay, so let's go to some of my flagged ones. Taki Falls promptly surrendered after failing to take the castle. Okay. 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 It was definitely decent. I think it could have gone better. To be honest, there was quite a few marks that I lost there. You can see some of the flagged ones, but overall, I think I was fairly happy with this run through. Yeah, it probably could definitely have been better. But yeah, that's just how it went. So let's have a look at some of the ones we got wrong then. So question 1. Oh, okay. This was it. The capitalize on this. Oh, I didn't even see why I didn't see C. That was very silly. I should have got C. It was fine. Okay, I kind of didn't read this passage very well. I was doing a bit of guessing, so that's probably what. Okay, not contributing to a community. Okay, I was trying to guess a little bit here. Require mental circuits to be in. I didn't really understand what when they said that. I thought because they said about the circuit stuff, I was talking about. I thought they were talking about this, but okay, it's fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, well, this was one that I flagged. It's undesirable for several potential reasons. Okay, yeah, this wasn't. Okay, so I think there was a couple of passages that kind of let me down. I could have definitely spent a little bit more time on them, but overall, I'm fairly happy with the time that I spent. And like I said, my VR is nowhere near as good as my QR and DM, so I'm fairly happy with this score as such. So the animals escaped after the zoo was attacked. I shouldn't have changed my answer, man. I couldn't even see most, but I just thought, okay, higher Fisher. Uranium 233. It says I thought I read it here. 238 has a small probability. 235, and to a less degree 333 have a much higher. So it says has a case, albeit to a lesser extent. Therefore, the 233 has a lower fission cross. Oh, okay, fine. That was a tricky one, but you can definitely see I used some ideas of guessing in there as well, and yeah, I think, like I said, I think with VR there is a lot of practice, definitely does go into it. But, I definitely could have done better here, I think. I'm not exactly sure what this score translates to as such. If I was just trying to, 34 out of 45 is about 75%. So if I just go to any score converter, if I really quickly go to a score converter, so if I go to like 34-ish, it's about 780 on here. That's what it says here. So yeah, about 780, 800. So definitely could have got better, but I thought it was a nice video to do just so you guys can see. And by no means, I'm not going to preach that I'm some kind of VR expert. Definitely not. It's definitely my weakest of the subsections. But you can see even then, I'm definitely out of practice. But just putting together some of the ideas that I talked about in my video, you can see it's still very much a doable section. So I hope you guys enjoyed this run through. I hope it was somewhat helpful. I do have some more. Like a full UCAT run through that I'm going to do, as well as some other VR mocks as well. So hopefully I can score a little bit higher. So I will record those and yeah, upload them as soon as I can. Okay, so perfect. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, please do comment and subscribe. We're almost at 800 subscribers, and if you guys can leave a comment in terms of what you'd like to see in the future, that would be really helpful as well. Okay, see you guys in the next video.